Hey everyone, I read recently, last week or over the weekend, this book, Trend Following, How Great Traders Make Millions in Up or Down Markets by Michael W. Covel. Now I think this is the second book I've reviewed on this channel by Covel. This is, I think, the best book on trading possibly ever written. I read this initially about 15 years ago when I was trading all the time, and it's still as true today as it was back then, because it dispels so many myths about trading, and it shows you what actually works. If you're a trader already, or if you're into trading, then I thoroughly recommend this book. If you want to learn about trading, I thoroughly recommend this book. There are some traders out there who for 20, 30, 40 years have consistently beaten the market. Now compare that to Wall Street, where you've got their whole thing is quarterly performance. Their whole thing is beating the market. Beating the market is easy, but the only people who consistently do it generally are people who do trend following, which this book is about. A little background on the reader, a little background on the writer. The writer is a guy who in the late 90s, early 90s decided he wanted to be a trader, was trying to get jobs as a trader, looked up who the most successful traders were, found out who they were, and then figured out, hang on, they all trade in pretty much the same way. So I guess it's like weight loss, there's tons and tons of bullshit out there. Oh, scientists have discovered if you rub this leaf on your bumhole at 4 in the morning before you eat, all this bullshit you see. Do you think cardio is the way to lose belly fat? And all this nonsense you see whenever on your YouTube or something. That's what most of the trading seems to be like. It's not that complicated though. You basically cut your calories down below your maintenance level and you'll lose weight. Same with trading. There's some simple things you have to do and you will make money consistently all the time. In this book you'll meet a lot of people who have done that. One guy who comes up a lot is a guy called Ed Seykota. Ed Seykota's made hundreds of millions. Is he anything to do with Wall Street? No, he lives on Lake Tahoe. What does he do in his spare time? Well, he teaches other traders, he plays music, wears Hawaiian shirts. And another nice thing about this book is it shows you that you don't need to have gone to the world's top universities. You don't need to work for one of these big investment banks to make it big, because the markets are now open to anybody because of the internet and because of online trading platforms, etc., etc. And contrary to all this bullshit, you can pay 4 or 5 grand to go and learn from one of these currency coaches. They're all just salesmen. The markets, whether it's currency, whether it's commodities, whether it's shares, they're all the same. They all have some things in common. You don't have to be an expert in any one of them. That's another thing. You don't have to be an expert in any one of them. It doesn't matter if you're right 90% of the time or 10%. You can be right 10% of the time and still make big money. Yeah. Put it like this. George Soros is very, very famous for his or betting against the British pound, and it made him, $1 billion or whatever it was. It made him very, very wealthy. He was very famous for that. It's about the only trade he ever got right. Okay, most of the other ones he lost, but that one big trade got it right. So he's probably right about 10% of the time. He's phenomenally wealthy as a result of it. Another guy is what's his name? John Paulson, or the guy who betted against the mortgage market in 2008. I think I read about it initially in a book called The Greatest Trade Ever. He was so much in debt with so much borrowed money before that trade started going in his favor that if he hadn't been able to borrow more money, you'd never have heard of him, apart from a guy who ran up hundreds of millions of debt. But then just in time, by the skin of his teeth, that trade started going in his favor and he made billions. One trade he got right. So you don't need to be right all the time. So when you see, these guys on YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or whatever they are now, all these platforms out there, some 20-something-year-old guy in a suit wearing sunglasses with his hired Lamborghini or his dad's car in the background. I'm a Forex trader. No, you're full of bullshit. Right? Forget those guys. If you want to learn to trade, try trend following. That was a lot of talk, wasn't it? In the back of this book, which is the expanded edition, it's got the month-by-month performance figures of a lot of the traders profiled in this book, which if I could find you and just show you some of, it would probably, here we go. So Right, Winton Capital Management. David Winton, English guy, often featured in the press as the UK's biggest taxpayer. You know, he's a trader. He's not one of these Google guys who make billions and pay a pound of tax on one of these assholes. Alright, so let's see. Oh, this is something interesting as well. You'll see they don't make money every month or every year. So all this nonsense about you have to be right all the time, once again, is just nonsense. So let's see. David Winton, here we go, 1997, this 2005. So in January he lost 5%. In February he made 5%. In March he made 5.7%, 4.7%. In April he lost 4%. In May he made 6%. So you see, no one's performance goes like that if they're successful. It kind of goes like, I'll tell you what those big bumps are about. So here we go. Let's find another guy. Saxon. I can't remember reading about Saxon. Anyway, Saxon. So Saxon is another Saxon Investment Corporation, an aggressive, diversified program. That's what it's called. Now, the more aggressive you are if you're trading, the more money you'll make. But also, when you lose money, you'll lose more of it. The trick, once again, is to make your wins much bigger than your losses. So, 1993, they made. What do you think is a good return for a year? Oh, why don't we do a Bernie Madoff? A Bernie Madoff, he gets you 12%. What was it? 12% every single year forever. Oh, that doesn't sound suspicious, does it? But you know, if you've got enough people on Fox and enough people on Wall Street saying, "Oh, it's really good, buy it, buy it, buy it," then all these idiots will buy it. Not idiots, sophisticated people. It's just a big scam. Jesse Livermore, another famous trader, who was also a trend follower, but he didn't have money management, so he went broke in the end. He had a really good quote. What was it? Wall Street is a whorehouse where the stocks are the whores, the brokers are the pimps, and good men come to throw all their money away. That's a good quote. It was something along those lines. Anyway, check this out. So 1993, Saxon Investment Corporation made 39.54%. Right? That's a damn good return. It's not that good though. 1994, Saxon Investment Corporation made 142.6%. Right? At one point during that year, they were down 40%. Okay? 1995, they were down 46%. 1996, they made 18.26%, and then all their up years that followed 6%, 26%, 24%, 40%, 14%, 9%. 2003, 88%. Alright, so, and then for all of these guys, you've got these data and charts in the background. These are verified data, by the way. So, let's see what this is. $1,000 invested with Saxon Corporation in November 93 by May 05 would have grown to around $12,000. So you get 12 times your money over 19 years. It's not too bad, is it? And don't forget, everything compounds, so it wouldn't just be linear like that. I'll stop going on about the data, but for me the data's fascinating because that's where the proof is. You know, once you know all the theory and everything, if you look at your data, if you look at your proof, there you go. Here's another good one. Look, I want to see someone's 2008 because there's some. Oh no, there's another book of his I was reading, and I'll review that actually. Guys who made like 80% in 2008 when, you know, all the traditional buy and hold was dying. And you know, if you buy things when they're cheap and you hold on for long enough, you'll make money. No, you won't. Not if you invested in the Nikkei in Japan. You wouldn't have made any money in about 30 years. Yeah, so buy and hold is stupid. Alright, so let's see this one last guy, John W. Henry. There's a guy who owned, what was the baseball team he owned? Boston Red Sox. So let's see, in 1996 he made 25%, in 1997 he made 13%, in 1998 he made 16%, in 1999 he lost 1.4%, 2000 he made 20%, 2001 he lost 1%, in 2002 he made 30%, in 2000, similar things, see, big wins, little losses, big wins, and don't forget those big wins can come at the end of a year where you might have dipped out 40% in the case of one guy. This talks about everything. It talks about, you know, trading systems don't have to be complex to work. In fact, if they're too complex, they're generally what's called curve fit. My God, I've been talking for 10 minutes. I do apologise. which means run over historical data, they would have given you perfect results, but history doesn't repeat itself. So if one thing changes, you're screwed, basically. He talks in here a lot of the big blow-ups of these magic funds, you know, by Nobel Prize winners for maths and, you know, maths and physics and everything, and economics. Yeah, we've got this great fund, look, we're really clever, it works. Oh shit, it stopped working, you've lost all your money. That's happened so many times. And on the other side of those trades where they lost billions, these guys tend to be on the other side of those trades and made all that money. I don't know how much information I've given you here, but as you can tell, I'm enormously enthusiastic about this book. I love this book. I know it works because I've traded like this. And then on the back, you've got, actually on the front, why don't we talk about on the front? Larry Hite, CEO of Hite Capital Management. The guy's made probably billions by now. For my staff at Hite Capital, Michael Coville's trend following is required reading. Alright. Hite, by the way, was born with learning difficulties. You don't have to be super smart to trade the markets. In fact, what's interesting, the super smart people tend not to be that good at it because they're always trying to predict. They're always trying to second guess. They're always trying to outmaneuver everybody else. And maybe they do once, like people like Soros or Paulson, and they end up super rich. But if you want to win consistently, trying to predict what the market's going to do is about the dumbest thing you can. Oh, but that's how analysts make their money. That's everything everybody on CNBC and Fox News and everyone talks about. They don't know what they're talking about. They have to sell you information. So 12 out of 10. No, 10 out of 10. Very, very good book. Not to everyone's liking because, you know, if somebody told me this is the best book ever on physics, I probably wouldn't read it because I'm not interested in physics. But if you're interested in trading, then read it. It's really, really good. Trend Following, How Great Traders Make Millions in Up or Down Markets by Michael W. Coville. Okay.